All right, so this is the case of Davenport versus Martinez. Mr. Davenport, tell me what's going on. Why are we here?
Your Honor, I'm coming home from work. I picked my wife up, and we had just had a beautiful dinner. Everything was lovely. Everybody was in a great mood. We pull up to our driveway, and it's a guy on top of our house painting. He's on a ladder. He's painting our house. Keep in mind, Your Honor, we haven't ordered anybody to paint our house, me nor my wife. Now, the train wreck of my next door neighbor, she had told us she was gonna paint her house. So these guys painted the wrong house, Your Honor.
You pulled into your neighborhood and you drove up to your house and you saw someone painting your home.
My house was just painted last summer.
Okay, all right, hold on a second. I'm gonna get right back to you. So, Mr. Martinez, Mr. Davenport is saying Mr. Davenport is stating that you were painting his home.
¿Qué dijo?
Dijo que estabas pintando la casa de él.
Sí.
He said yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so did Mr. Martinez, did Mr. Davenport commission you to paint his home?
Entonces, si le pintaste la casa a él.
A nosotros nos contrataron para pintar una casa y cuando llegamos comenzamos a pintar la casa más fea del barrio.
Dijo, dang. He said, what he basically said is that we got to the property and we assumed it was that house because it was the worst looking house of the neighborhood.
So you didn't have it in writing.
I object, Your Honor.
Hold on, Mr. Davenport. So you didn't have permission to paint Mr. Davenport's house. Did you guys confirm the address when you arrived?
Se confirmaron la dirección antes de llegar.
No necesariamente. Miramos que la casa estaba en malas condiciones.
Not really. We just assumed.
So you just assumed that Mr. Davenport's house was the house you were supposed to paint. Hold on a second. Okay, so Mr. Davenport, tell me what else happened. So you pull up to your house, you notice that these guys are painting your home and that you didn't commission them to paint the house. Tell me what happened. What did you do when you noticed this?
Okay, so I went up to one of the guys. I went up to the guy that was on the ladder and I said, "Hey, what are you doing painting my house?" And the guy said, he basically couldn't speak any English. So he was basically saying, "Como slide," something like that. And so I'm saying, I'm taking the paint from him because he wouldn't stop. So I had to just try to take the paint out of his hands. He was not going to stop painting.
Dijo, ¿por qué le estabas pintando la casa?
Joana, porque yo comencé a hacer el trabajo para no perder tiempo y no estaban los dueños para confirmarme que era la casa que teníamos que pintar.
So, Mr. Alegria, what is he saying? Talk to me. Tell me what he's saying, Mr. Alegria.
So he's basically saying we have a lot of work in our hands. We just needed to get in and out. Simple as that.
Okay, so hold on a second. So, Mr. Alegria, can you ask Mr. Martinez what time did they start the job? Did they start painting the home?
¿A qué horas comenzaste?
Como en la mañana, 10 por ahí.
It was 10 in the morning.
Okay, so Mr. Davenport, what time did you arrive home? What time did you notice that these guys were painting your house?
I came around 4 in the afternoon.
And how much of the house was painted when you arrived?
Half of the back was painted and half of the side was painted.
Okay, so half of the house was painted. So basically, they did it in sections. Did they finish the house? What happened?
No, they only finished half. They finished half in the back and half in the front. And
okay, so then what happened?
It was a nightmare. I have a party tomorrow. I invited some investors over. It's going to come to my house, and I was going to have a dinner party. I can't even have a party now.
So is your house still unfinished? Did you finish the home?
No, I haven't finished it. I wanted to come to court and get them to pay for it.
Okay, so you have because I'm looking at your complaint. It says you have an estimate to have your house repainted for what, $3,750 for the outside.
$3,850.
So it's $3,850. Not well. Your complaint says $3,750. Okay, so Mr. Alegria.
Yes, boss.
You address me as Your Honor or Judge, not boss.
I'm sorry.
Who's the owner of the company? Can you ask Mr. Martinez who's the owner of the company and how did a mistake like this happen?
¿Quién es el dueño de la compañía? ¿Cómo pasó el desmadre?
Dile que mi jefe es mi papá, so él más me mandó a hacer el trabajo. Yo llegué para limpiar la casa, le hice todo lo que hice, el pressure wash, ¿qué es eso? Eso.
Okay.
También quería pues estar que toda la casa esté bonita antes que comenzar a trabajar en ella.
So,
Objection, Your Honor. Objection.
Oh, Mr. Davenport, hold on a second. Go ahead, Mr. Allegri. Go ahead.
so he basically said his dad sent him to paint the house, but before he had to paint it, he had to pressure wash it. And so he did that, and then he painted the house.
Okay, so he'd already pressure washed the home, and then he started painting the house all in the same day before Mr. Davenport arrived home.
He's saying that it's everything turned out as brand new, as like this.
But you left the house unfinished. You guys, Mr. Davenport is stating that when he arrived home and after he approached Mr. Martinez packed up the equipment and left. He threw it in the van and then he left and leaving the house unfinished.
Dice que cuando él llegó,
Is this true, Mr. Martinez?
No.
he's saying no. He's
Okay,
saying
so
You
listen,
don't know how my,
Okay,
my
hold on,
basement-
Mr. Davenport, hold on a second. Okay, so Mr. Martinez, in your words, you tell me what happened.
Yo me contrataron para pintar la casa.
he basically, they hired him to paint the house.
Who hired you to paint the house?
Una señora, no sé.
A lady.
Yo pensé que su esposa.
We assumed it was his wife.
No. No one gave them permission to paint my home. But when we drove up, me and my wife drove up, she captured the video of the of the plaintiffs leaving the scene of the crime. That's what happened, Your Honor.
So she captured the video of them painting the house because the video we have is them painting.
Bailiff, can you roll a video?
No, diles que cuando nosotros llegamos, la señora nos dijo que limpiara la casa porque estaba fea.
He said the lady told us to wash the house because it was ugly.
Y luego yo cuando comencé a hacer el trabajo, ellos llegaron enojados.
And then he started to do the job, and they came up angry.
They came up. Did they come up
then,
while you were pressure washing or while you guys were painting?
Si llegaron cuando estabas pintando o cuando estabas limpiando.
Cuando estaba pintando, Johanna.
When he was painting, Your Honor.
Okay, so you'd already pressure washed the home, and Mr. Davenport arrived when you guys was halfway in the middle of painting the back of the house. Mr. Davenport he's suing you guys in order for him to have the home.
Your Honor,
Go ahead.
He said, I don't know why he's accusing us if we did him a favor.
La casa estaba fea.
The house was really ugly.
Mr.
That's my
Davenport.
next door neighbor's house. That's not my house. Her house is ugly.
Okay, so wait a minute.
She is the eyesore of the neighborhood, not my house.
Wait a minute. So you guys painted the wrong home. You were supposed to paint his neighbor's house.
Yeah, the neighbor, not me.
So, Mr. Martinez, did you guys paint the same house that you pressure washed?
Si limpiamos si pintamos la misma casa, sí que limpiamos.
Casi le hicimos todo el trabajo.
It's same house, everything same house.
Mr. Davenport is stating that you guys painted the wrong house. You were supposed to paint his neighbor's house and not his house.
Que pintamos la casa equivocada.
La culpa es de
My
él.
neighbor told me she was gonna get a house painted.
He said that it's his fault. No one told us.
Mr. Davenport, Mr. Allegri, can you please tell Mr. Martinez that Mr. Davenport just stated that his neighbor spoke with him and said that she was in the process of having her home painted?
Dijo que él estaba hablando con su vecino que ella estaba en el proceso de pintarle la casa.
So, ella quería que le pintaran su casa también.
He's asking, so she wanted us to paint her house too?
No.
Okay, so check this. Okay, so hold on a second. Okay, so Mr. Martinez, can you produce for me in the court? Can you produce the contract of the that you had an agreement with? Was it with Mr. Davenport? If you guys had an agreement, can you produce the contract with that?
Dice si tienes contacto con él.
Dice, pues regularmente nomás es de por hablar y nos pagan en efectivo.
He said it was just word of mouth.
Okay, so here's what we are, Mr. Olivia. Here's what we are. You guys painted a home. Mr. Davenport is stating that you painted the wrong home. He never commissioned you guys. You can't produce a contract for me showing a binding agreement between the two of you guys. So therefore, what you basically did was vandalism. You vandalized this house because you painted a portion of his house and you didn't complete it. Mr. Davenport is stating that he never once commissioned you guys. You can't produce a contract for me showing that you guys had a binding agreement, you know, so that you can serve. You would render him a service. So therefore, I am ready to make my ruling. Mr. Davenport, go ahead, Mr. Davenport. Does it sound like you're losing, Mr. Davenport?
No, but Your Honor, I need another $2,000 because I thought that my grandson had left the water on. They flooded when they power washed.
Okay, well, that's Mr. Davenport.
I flooded my basement.
Mr. Davenport, you didn't make that assessment and you didn't file that in your claim. So therefore, you have to go back to court and sue them again if that's what you would like to do. But for right now, I am ready to make my ruling.
Your Honor, we can come back to his house and finish the job if you would like us to paint the house and finish it.
Mr. Davenport, would you like for them to come back and finish your home?
No way.
They're offering to finish your house for $2,000.
Well, they would have to also fix my basement that they flooded out with the power wash. I would definitely do it.
We're painters, sir. We're not plumbers.
Okay, all right. So it seems like we can't come to an agreement here in court. So therefore, I am ready to make my ruling. Here's where we are, Mr. Martinez. You guys painted the wrong home. Mr. Davenport is stating that he never ever commissioned you guys to render a service to his home. He never asked you guys to paint his home. You painted the wrong house. So therefore, and not only did you paint the wrong house, you can't produce an agreement. You can't produce a signed contract between you guys and Mr. Davenport commissioning you guys to paint his home. So therefore, I have no other choice but to make my ruling in favor of the plaintiff, Mr. Davenport, for a total of $3,850. That's my ruling for the plaintiff, $3,850.
Wait, $3,850? That is too much, Your Honor. He's losing. I'm not.
Your Honor, that guy's speaking English. He's speaking English. What is this, kangaroo court?
Yo, what is
guy,
going on?
this was a con job.
I just translated what you told me, dog.
This is your fault, man. You're the translator.
Do you have a dispute and would like to settle it before our forum? If so, contact us at info@basicallyctv.com. Basically Court TV, where the disputes are somewhat real and everyday disagreements are handled however the judge sees fit.